So if you can't see, there's a couple of little housekeeping things. You can scan the QR code. I will not be doing any pass outs. We'll stay paperless. That QR code will get you a version on your phone that is battery dying. That QR code will take you to the same thing that I'm looking at. So just in case you don't want to strain your eyes, we have a great projector here, and those two aren't really great. And then there's a remind code down here at the bottom. Please use the one for your school. Yeah, please, students and parents, join the remind. This will be a very critical step in the very beginning where we will find out what parents did not join. So please, parents, join. All right, I have 6 o'clock, so I believe on starting on time so I can get you all out of here. Thank you for coming. I am Dan Robbins. I'm your principal here at EC3. The lovely lady that you saw outside is Christy Wright. That is our guidance counselor till June 1st or July 1, I think. She is retiring on us, sadly. And then Mr. Kyle Coomer is our assistant principal. So all three of us are here. We are your three main contacts for the time being in our program. Thank you all for coming tonight. I hate getting everyone out, especially on a nice sunny Wednesday afternoon, but this meeting is very important for your child. So they either dragged you here or you dragged them here. We'll figure that part out later. But thank you for coming. I know in this room we have a mixed crowd in regards to those that have already been accepted and those that are still waiting for acceptance. We have, I think my last count, I think we're up to 58 total accepted already. So not to stress anyone out, I still believe that we will accept a lot more. Our threshold is about 100. We put that out there, that's what we look for. However, if we have to go above that, then that's a good thing. And that'll just be a conversation that I have with our superintendent, and then we'll figure that part out. So we hope to get to the point where we're having to look at numbers above 100. We are not looking at turning students away that meet our benchmarks. So like I said, a couple housekeeping things. I am going to probably scroll past this. So if you got a chance to take care of getting that QR code, you can see that document in front of you versus looking up at the screen. Very, very important that you all join your respective Remind groups. We use Remind a lot, okay? It is our easiest way to communicate something to you quickly and often. Sometimes we use it just for our student groups, just to get them a message. Sometimes we message out just to parents, or sometimes we do all. So it is good that when you set yourself up in Remind that you identify yourself as parent or student. That is something that can be done in that Remind app, okay?
Just real quick, your North Hardin code.
Oh, it does say JH, my bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, that should be NH. Thank you.
Yeah.
Copying and pasting, doing that stuff. So yeah, it is NH. So thanks for catching that. You can see, I'm not a genius here. I just put something real simple at the end of it. So yeah, thank you for catching that. That is NH for the North Hardin group. So again, just join your respective one. For that, we'll send all the same information out to all those, but sometimes it's just pertinent information just for a John Hardin group. No reason for us to flood everyone else with that information. This program, I know that a lot of you, I see some familiar faces from parents in here, so it's kind of cool that we're getting to the point where we're getting siblings. I think that's an awesome, awesome thing. I was a parent of a sibling. I've had 2 children come through this program now. It is not for everyone. I'll just go ahead and say that out there right now. I'm not going to ever try to talk your child out of that. I don't have to do that. There are teachers out there that try to do that for us. This program is an awesome program if your child wants it, okay? And I really want to emphasize that. If your child wants it. If you are the one that drugged your child here and your child is saying, no, I don't want this, give in to them. Don't force them, okay? Save yourself and us the headache, because this program will require a lot from them. It will ask them to grow up very quickly. It may ask them to do more than they ever wanted to do in school. So it's again, maybe that's another conversation for you all to have at home. We want your child, but we want them to want to be here, okay? Thanks for those coming. There are still some chairs available. I know no one wants to walk up front, but it's safe. You can grab a chair and have a seat. couple of things that I kind of want to go through and what makes this program really special. One of the biggest things I think is about personal freedom. I know that your kids want it in a lot of different aspects. In high school, we know that they must go to school. They structure your time, first period, second period, third period. Teachers remind you all day long of your responsibilities. In college, it's voluntary. You decide your own time schedule and you balance your responsibilities. Well, here at EC3 in this program, you must go to class. That's still the same. But you structure your free time, and we will aid in reminding you of your responsibilities. So it is a nice transitional point from high school into college. And so that's why we say it's kind of like college with our hand on your shoulder. And that's what it really looks like during the junior year. During the senior year, the second year for your children to be in that program, it's kind of like college, but we're standing like an arm's length away. Okay, we give them even more freedom to make decisions on their own. They still have to check in a lot with us, but it changes just a little bit, and we'll talk about the differences between junior and senior year as we get into this. The first I want to go over are the courses that your children will be taking here at EC3. All right, so as you get down here into this, categorically, students must take English, or in college what they call it is writing. Students will have to take 101 and 102. That must be taken. Okay, 161 can come into place if they complete 101 and 102 their junior year. But the only thing we ask them to do is 101. Okay, and a lot of these things that I'm saying, you're going to start saying, what's that? What's 101? It's just like first year English or writing and second year of writing. So yeah, can you hold questions to the end? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. And then English 161 is a literature course, but in the state of Kentucky, students must take an English course every year of high school. So majority of our students, they take 101 their junior year and 102 their senior year. But we do have some students that are more literature focused. They're into those types of arts, and so they might take 101 and 102 and then do 161. We have even allowed students to go 101, 161, and then save 102 for their senior year. Again, just some things that we're doing as long as they take an English every year. Math, or what the colleges call quantitative reasoning, you must take that every single year. It is the rule for the state of Kentucky as well. So we start all of our students out on MAT 150. Now, that's college algebra. For some students, I know that we have some math whizzes and people are progressing quicker and quicker, and we might have some students that have finished this before coming into our program. And if that's the case, then we just move them on to the next course. Sequentially for us, we go into Math 155, which is trig. And then we would have to decide something else for their senior year, most likely calculus. And we do not teach calculus here in our building. That it will be on campus at ECTC. But we will send you there. And then another course that a lot of degree programs, four-year degree programs, require statistics. And statistics is not necessarily harder than trig. It's just different. So those that are scared of math, you can be scared of all three. But just understand that statistics is a little different than that. So then we get into the next courses that your children will be taking. Everyone has to take a communications course. In the past, we have taken COM 181, which is public speaking. There are a lot of degree paths out there that require public speaking, and there are other degree plans out there that just say you have to have communications. We were teaching COM 252 as well, which is interpersonal communications, but we're working with ECTC on that, and we've made the decision that next year we're just going to offer 181. So kids will not have the choice anymore, and this battery is going to die on me now too. So I'm mic'd up. You're good here, right? You all can hear me fine, right? I've never had that problem in the past. So COM 181 is what we're going to offer here for our students. If they want COM 252, that can be a course that they can take at the college after their junior year. So it's another communications course. After that, Heritage. Must categorically complete Heritage. The junior year of high school, students take U.S. History. 109, History 109, is the U.S. History course. So we're taking care of what high school must have for U.S. History. We're taking care of a Heritage course in History 109. The next course is Humanities. High school requires students to have arts and humanities to graduate. Now, I know there's a majority of you that have probably already taken arts and humanities, or maybe you're enrolled in it this school year. That's great. You still need humanities for college. So if you need humanities for high school, this will take care of both. If you've already taken the high school course, that's fine. You still need this for college, and this will be a course that every junior takes here as well. The next categories are social and behavioral sciences. And it doesn't matter whether you are the Associates of Arts or Associates of Science, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You must have at least two. So the two that we have focused in on are Psychology 110 and Sociology 101. Those two are offered here. We are actually just being transparent. We're still taking a look at Sociology 101. Our professor this school year has decided that he's going to be doing something different. So I think he's actually moving on. So we'll either look to get another professor or we will find another course for our students. I'm sorry, this is a little loud. Let me fix this. I think that's better. So we will make that switch if needed. And then the next category are our science courses. Sorry, it's still messing up. Our science courses. The science courses, every student has to take science. Again, you must categorically fulfill that in your college. Plus, you must have science, a third year of science in high school. So we have broken that down for our students here. The first course, that Bio 112, is just a basic biology course. Anybody in here taking AP Biology right now? Okay, great. So when you take AP Biology, when you pass the test, you will get Bio 112 credit. You will still need to take 113 for the lab. Okay, so just putting that out there, but we have a lot of students that take the AP Bio, and they pass the test. Just take the lab once you get here. We'll add some other science course for you. This Chem 120, 125, that is like the bottom floor of chemistry. So a lot of you took an integrated science, I think was the name of it, your freshman year. This is probably like honors level. It's probably what that equivalent is. For students that are like, I hate science, I don't want anything, this right here might be up your alley. You'll be fine with it. You do a lot of what I call middle school experiments in that course. They're very simple. You might make some slime. You might make the elephant toothpaste, like, those types of things. It's a fun class, but it's not hard. The next course is Chemistry 140, 145. Now this is where we start to step it up a little bit. Students that are thinking they're going to go into a major that requires more chemistry, maybe you're doing engineering, those types of things, you will start here with this. Now, if you're just a pure genius and you think I'm ready to go right on and step into what we consider the big boy and the big girl chemistry, there is something above that, but that's got to be a one-on-one conversation that we make that decision, okay? That's Chem 170, 175. We do that with some kids, but we want to make sure that we're not feeding you to the lions in that, okay? So, and then the next one is Bio 135. That is a class and a lab built in. It's just one grade. That's why it has one number versus the others having two separate numbers. That is anatomy. It's anatomy. Those that are looking for the medical field, okay, will take anatomy. And very specifically nursing, you must have anatomy. Now, if you're going to be a doctor, you don't necessarily have to have anatomy now. It is so you can do like a biology or chemistry, but I think it probably makes a lot of sense for you to have it. We're actually this class will be taught in a dual credit model here with high school teachers starting next year. Our health sciences teachers are going to be teaching. We just got approved with ECTC to follow a model, so we're very excited to be able to do that. 16-week classes and 8-week classes. So currently on the high school semester and trimesters, your child takes a class for 12 weeks at a time. And then it's over, and then we switch and we find another class for 12 weeks, and then we find another class during the third trimester for 12 weeks. We will follow a fall and spring college semester in this program. The traditional courses, for anybody here that's familiar with college, are 16 weeks. That's August to December, fall. Spring is January to May, 16 weeks. There are 8-week classes that can be mixed into those. ECTC moved to this model is it 2 years now, Ms. Sims? Did y'all move to the 8-week model? And so they started an 8-week model of courses that allowed students to kind of take a few more at an 8-week time. Maybe they would just focus on 2 to 3 classes during the 8 weeks, finish those, and then start another 2 to 3 classes in another 8 weeks, instead of having 4 to 5 classes. So your child may have some 8-week courses mixed in. I have not listed any of those in here currently, but your children will have the opportunity to take courses such as a digital literacy course, CIT 105. There is a nutrition course that the students could take, personal finance that everyone will take. It is part of the state requirement that everyone completes that now. And those are courses that are 8 weeks, and those will typically be online courses. And so mixed in with their course load, we'll have some 8-week courses, okay? Just kind of talk a little bit about fall and spring, and I just want to kind of break that down. These are the dates of the semesters at ECTC. So August 14th to December 10th is the full 16 weeks, and then I've given you the 2 8-week terms mixed in. Fall break for Hardin County Schools and ECTC next year is October 9th through the 13th. We share the exact same fall break. That is nice, okay? It is the first time we've done that, so we're excited to have that. The spring is different. The spring, January 8th to May 5th, there are the 2 8-week terms mixed in, and then spring break, as you can see, is very different. Hardin County Schools, April 1st through the 5th. Next year, for ECTC, it's March 4th through the 10th. Now that does come into play a little bit if your child is taking a class on ECTC's campus, okay? A lot of times our juniors might have a science class that's on campus, and it might then throw the schedule off just a little bit. So just be aware, if you're a family that likes to do family vacations and family trips, my recommendation would be fall if you're going to do that. It would not be spring, okay? It's just, sorry, it just makes a whole lot of sense. Or you just leave somebody at home, right? And you go take that great trip that you've been planning. So just understand it's going to be a little different. And it definitely gets very different during your senior year because they will follow the ECTC calendar exclusively, okay? 2 documents that I have on here, I'm going to go ahead and open up these links. These are the 2 degrees, and I'm just going to kind of whip through them. You all have access to them so you can kind of see them. But I do want to kind of show you as I broke down those courses. This is what the degree plan looks like if your child is going to study an Associates of Science degree. Associates of Science degree basically means that your child is more interested in the sciences than they are the arts. That's it. Okay? And as you can see, the things that I was talking about earlier, the writing, oral communications, heritage, humanities, social behavioral, natural science, quantitative reasoning, these are the courses. An associate's degree is 60 college credit hours. Your children will take, on average, 12 to 15 college credit hours a semester. If they take 15 every semester for 4 semesters, there's the 60. That's how they get an associate's degree. We do not guarantee that your child will get an associate's degree by being in this program. Your child must earn it, and they must complete all the courses required for the degree that they're going after. So it is available, but they must earn it. And at the end, at this point right now in their senior year, they have to apply for graduation. They apply to get into this program, and they will apply to get out of this program. I tell the kids all the time, just understand that's the way it's going to be. You'll do that when they go on to the four-year college. You got to apply to get in, you apply to get out. Okay? They will let you stay a student for the rest of your life if you've never applied for graduation. Okay? So the degree program is set up. We go over this with them. They get a hard copy of it. They write in the courses. They write the grades. They keep up with it. Because in college, even though you're going to have an academic advisor, you are your own advisor. You need to make sure that you are taking the right courses to finish your degree path. You will have someone tell you, but you got to make sure. It's up to you to schedule them. So I'll show you real quick what the arts, it's very similar to that. Sorry, theirs goes into another link here, and then I have to click another page. I apologize. I don't know why this one does this, but this is just the way they have loaded it. All right, so here is this one. Again, you will see that it's very similar. The big difference on this one is that you have more social behavioral sciences and one less natural science or quantitative reasoning. That's the only difference between an Associates of Arts and Associates of Science degree plan. That's it. Okay, the additional requirement here for more arts and humanities, social behavioral science, oral communications, foreign language, and so on. In the other degree, this is where they fill it with natural science or quantitative reasoning. That's it. So during their junior year, we start to research four-year degree plans, and then we start to correlate what that degree plan looks like going in to finish at ECTC. And we start to help them to find what courses they need to be taking during their senior year, because they will fulfill everything that we're asking them during the junior year except for that last English and that last math. Everything else, during their senior year, they just have to figure out what else do they need that matches up with a four-year degree plan so that they can accelerate themselves just a little bit and not take classes that they don't need. Now, there's a lot of freedom in the fact that students can take some classes that are just fun for them. That's fine. We're okay with it. We're okay with them exploring career options. They're young. They may not necessarily know what they want to do. So you all just have to have that conversation at home, because obviously every class they take costs money. So you just have to understand, like, that's fine for you to take that if then you're okay with paying for that class. So as long as you all are good with that and you all are on the same page, we will help them figure out what courses they need that match up with the colleges that we're working with. All right. Let me talk about a little bit about the course syllabus, the grades, and grade checks. So the course syllabus, students, parents, this is the contract that your child will have with their professor. In that syllabus, it will tell them everything that they need to do to get the grade that they want. They will tell them that when assignments are due. It will tell them how to contact the professor. It will tell them what to do if they can't make it to class. It'll tell them what to do if there's inclement weather. It's going to tell them all of these things. Again, this is the contract between your student and the teacher and what they need to do to get the grade that they need. I can't tell you what it takes to get an A, because it's different from professor to professor. I can't tell you that a 90% will give them an A. It's different from professor to professor. I can tell you for their Hardin County Schools high school class, they need a 92 to get an A. That is set in stone. But for the professors, they have their own rules, and they can decide what it takes to get an A. It might be that you need 42 points out of 100 to get an A. I don't know. It will say in the syllabus. So I know that our students are they keep grades at the high priority. They want to know, what does it take to get an A? So they'll have to look at that syllabus. They'll understand what it takes. Now, I can tell you this, that if your student earns an A in a class, the college reports to us an alphabetic grade. They just send an A. When we see that A, we have to report it on their high school transcript. All of our dual credit classes do this across our district, so it's not just in this program, but we take the A and then we have to tag a numeric value to it. Well, that A is automatically a 100 numerically. Well, why does that matter? Class rankings. Okay? If you are a student that takes all dual credit versus a student that they don't take all dual credit, and you get an A that's a 100, and they take an easy class or an easier class, and they get an A as a 94, you are ranked higher than them. This is something that our students have really wanted for a long time. They wanted to know, why is my A in dual credit anatomy the same as PE? Okay? So this is where it helps them a little bit based off of those grades. Now, a B is a 91. You get the best B. Just like you got the best A, you get the best B. So, and yes, that goes on the transcript. So if a student says, well, when I looked at my grade for the professor, it showed that I had an A, but the teacher posted a B. Well, they're going to have to make sure that they know the difference between what they're looking at in Blackboard, which is the learning management program, and that how they calculate all the grades based off the syllabus to make sure. Because we have some professors that post so many grades in Blackboard, but they may also be using something like, and I'll just throw something out there, it may not mean a whole lot to you parents, it's called Cengage, and that's like another learning management program that students are using. Well, then they calculate the 2 grades and they put it together based on percentages, and that's how they post your grade. So we get kids that sometimes get confused, like, well, on Blackboard it said I had an A. What did your syllabus say? And then when they look at the syllabus, they find out, oh, I had a C on Cengage, and that mixed together gives me the B in the class. So we'll work with them on that, but again, they have to make sure that they understand what it takes. Now, we do grade checks with your kids, all right? We do them actually 3 times a semester, and we've been doing that for a long time now. And for 90% of our kids, grade checks are easy. Every time we check them, all A's. A's and B's, no problem. Maybe we see a C trickle in there. But there are some students where we start to see some grades start to drop a little bit, and for whatever reason. We've actually decided just this week that we're going to shift how we do grade checks. And next year, sometime in August, what we will do is we will actually bring you parents back in here with your children, and they're going to bring an electronic device. And we will do our first grade check together as a group. So you will sit with your child, with us, and we will show you how to check your child's grades. Parents, raise your hand if you look at Infinite Campus weekly. Don't be ashamed. It's fine. I did it too. Okay? You won't be able to use Infinite Campus to check your child's grades anymore. I'm going to show you how you can check your child's grades with them. Okay? This is going to be very important. So we're going to change up how we're going to do grade checks next year. Our kids, we're going to hand them a paper when it's grade check time. They're going to go home. They're going to do grade checks with you. They're going to fill it out, and they're going to sign it. You're going to sign it and bring it in. And we're going to make sure that you saw the grades. Okay? Why are we doing that? I'll tell you. Because I get calls from a parent that says, how did my kid fail? I didn't know. And I was like, well, you know, they had a D at last grade check, and when we notified you, I didn't hear from you. Well, I'm not on Remind. Well, I sent a message. I don't know where it went, out in outer space. And that's not just taking off, but just because your kid comes into the program doesn't mean that we stop then checking on them academically. We know your kids are great, they're super smart, but they still struggle sometimes. It's a much tougher program. So we're just changing it up a little bit. We will incentivize those kids to bring those forms back in. We do some really cool things here, so we'll have some incentives for them to bring those forms in, but we're going to change it up a little bit to help keep you all involved. Some of our kids are not going to like it, but that's fine. We don't care, right? We want to be able to check their grades and keep on the same page about things during those grade checks. All right? The next big one, FYE, stands for First Year Experience. This program requires a summer class, okay? That summer class does have a cost of $492, okay? I'm putting it out there right now for everybody. That summer class is 8 weeks long. It will start in June and will go all the way to the end of July. Your child can complete that class. They can log in as soon as it opens, and they can work on that, and they could finish it probably in 2 weeks in June if they wanted to. Or they could take the entire 8 weeks and take their time every week to do the assignments as needed and then move on. But I understand. I know, look across the room, I have athletes in here, we have people in band, we have people that do scouts. We know that you're busy. We get it. So you choose your schedule and you finish the class, but it has to be completed in those 8 weeks. First year experience prepares your child for what they're getting ready to get into with the content of college. If they cannot do well in the easiest class that is offered from ECTC, then we have to look really close if they should be in this program. It's one class during one summer term. If that's too much, perfectly fine. The reason we do it is because it is required to earn your associate's degree from ECTC. It is required. So if in this room we have parents and students saying, I don't want my associates. I want to do all this program, but I do not want my associates. I do have an option for you to do, but it will be an online Apex class that does prepare students for college and career. We do have some students that do that, but there will be a requirement for us to check to make sure that your child is serious about putting in the work. And I had a student that did that last summer, and they're fine, and then they've actually come in now and said, I want my associates, what do I need to do? Well, now you're going to take this FYE class this summer. It's the only way to do it. So Again, it does cost. Put it out there right now, but it is part of the associate's level program. Did this die? Oh, I think I scrolled too far. Nope. All right. I want to talk a little bit about your college professors versus your high school teachers. Again, given the real simple breakdown between them in high school, and this is not for everyone, but it's pretty close. Your high school teacher may review your homework. They might remind you about things that are incomplete. They might approach you if they think that you need help. They're often available before and after class. They've been trained as teachers, right? We know that. And they help you catch up if you've missed after being sick. Well, in college, they may not always remind or talk to you about homework that has been completed or not completed. They might not care. They may not remind you if things are incomplete. They might expect that you say something if you need help. They might expect that you attend scheduled office hours if you need help or feedback. And they have not necessarily been trained as teachers, but they're experts in their academic areas. And they would then expect you, if you missed, to talk to a classmate about what you do to get your missing notes. It's very different, okay? And we have fantastic college professors that come to our building. And they are probably closer related to our high school teachers than they are college, but it's just good for you to know that there is a difference, okay? And some of you might be like, that's fine, that's what I want. Okay. Just understand that there is a difference. Grades in high school, you get graded on pretty much everything, right? Everything you do, you probably get a grade for. Good homework grades might help you get an A in the class. Extra credit, probably available. Test grades at the start of the semester may not affect your final grade. Well, in college, you might have to do work and you might not get a single grade for it. It might just be part of what you have to do. Grades on tests and major papers usually provide most of the course grade. We have a course here where students take 4 tests. That's it. You take notes, do all this stuff, does 4 tests. And that's your grade for the class. Okay? Extra credit, never heard of it. Not very often that our professors provide it. But you can ask. They might tell you something different. Initial tests are often the wake-up call for expectations. It is kind of the first time you're like, oh, I didn't know that I had to read all 4 chapters for that first test. Right. But you covered these in class on PowerPoint. You did. But you also have to read the chapters. Students aren't very good at reading on their own. Okay? This is something they have to get familiar with. And I put in there, what is an A, what is a B, what is a C? They're different between professors, so don't get caught up on what one teacher might give for an A versus the other. Textbooks in this program. We provide all physical textbooks for your students. When you go off to college, you provide your own textbooks. You have to pay for those. We will pay for all physical textbooks. If the class requires a digital textbook, we cannot provide that. Our district can't recover a digital textbook. So that will be something that will be on you as a family to make sure that your child has that digital textbook. Most of the time, those digital textbook fees are just tagged into the bill. And I can't tell you how much they are. I've seen them range from $40 or $50 up to $80 or $90. Once the class is over, the digital textbook is gone, you don't have access to it anymore. That's why our district can't provide those. Technology. We will make sure that your kids have access to Chromebooks and laptops here in our program just as they have at their home high schools. We'll make sure that they have those. Your child, you do not need to go out and buy a brand new laptop for your kid to be in this program. Students, if you can somehow finagle your way into getting one, go for it. But they don't have to have one. We will make sure they have all the technology that they need. You will find that if you're going to make a purchase for something, I do not recommend buying a Chromebook. Personally, buy a laptop, okay? It's just going to do more. Chromebooks are cheaper for a reason, okay? But we will make sure that they have all the technology they need with it. All right, tuition costs. I know this is always a big question. Currently, the rate of tuition, and I think I actually have a typo, it's actually $91 and $182. That is the price that each class costs. So it's $91 per credit hour. Each class is at least 3 college credit hours. Your student will take an average between 12 to 15 college credit hours per semester. That means you will have a bill to pay each semester. You can estimate that the bills will come out sometime in October for fall, and I think sometime in March, April for the spring. You do not have to pay the bill before classes start. It is very different from when you go off to college for 4 years, or your 4-year colleges, where you have to pay before classes start. You have to just pay while the classes are going. Your goal will be is to have the bill paid by the time the semester ends. If not, we start scheduling in October for the spring classes. We will schedule twice a year. So we'll start scheduling for the spring classes. If you have a bill that has not been paid and we have told you bills need to be paid, your student will have a hold on their account. That hold will keep them from scheduling classes for the spring. If you can't schedule classes for the spring because you have a bill that's still due, then you can't be enrolled in classes. I have no choice but to send you back to your home high school. Okay, I just have to put that out there. So telling you now what the cost is, you're committing to doing this, start putting money in that jar or put it under your mattress, whatever, but be ready to pay the bill when it comes due. Okay? You can pay online, you can pay in person there at the RPC building or over the phone. I will send a message on Remind when it is time to pay the bill. Do not pay until you hear from me. Okay? That is the only time probably anybody will ever tell you, just ignore that bill. But your kids will get emails about it and say, pay your tuition. And you'll say, you got to pay now, you got to pay now. Those are mass emails that go out to every single student in the program. I mean, not just in our program, but at the college. So they're not distinguishing between a regular college student and a dual credit high school student. So again, just wait till you see the Remind message from us. Scholarships, very important part. State of Kentucky has been very committed to dual credit. And so every student in high school has the opportunity for 2 free college classes during the junior and senior year. This is huge. It used to just be 2 that they could use for junior or senior year. So right now in the budget, it is still staying. So if it stays that way, it'll stay. I don't want to be a liar up here, but it's been 2 free college classes their junior year, 2 free their senior year. When we help your kids pick these, they have to create a Kia account. Some of you parents probably have already done that. That is where all their Keys money comes from. So on their Kia account, they must go in and say, I want a scholarship during this semester at ECTC. And the college will then go in, if they're taking a college class like science that has a class and a lab, that's 4 hours, versus the math class that's 3, where do you want the scholarship applied? To the 4, right? Just makes money sense. So we will always make sure that the scholarship is tagged to the most expensive class that they're taking that semester. On top of that, the state of Kentucky is given what we call work-ready scholarships. Now, you all probably heard the term work-ready scholarships. There is a work-ready scholarship for students post-secondary high school that can go to college and do trades. This is connected to that in the sense that if your child takes on career and technical courses at the college, they can get 2 free classes a school year, starting their freshman year. So some of your kids may have already done that because they've taken like a CIT class at their high school. Maybe here at EC3 they took a medical terminology or maybe even a principles of health science. Those classes are dual credit and your kids can get 2 of those a year free. So that's kind of new. So if your students then do this right, if you take a look at this, that's a lot of free college that your kids can get. So we want to try to maximize that opportunity and we will help them to create that. Now the next, very important, our district has been committed to breaking down the barriers and creating this equality across for all. And we don't want a financial burden to be placed on families that can't afford it. Free and reduced lunch. If students are on free or reduced lunch, our district will pick up the tuition bill. Okay? Now, there are steps in the process that people must fill out paperwork for the district. They have to turn it all in. So as long as those things are taken care of, the district will commit to paying that. Students, just like all, must maintain a 3.0 GPA during the semester to remain eligible. If they cannot keep that GPA, that's for anybody. You might not be in the program the following semester. Okay? You got to maintain the 3.0 GPA to receive a tuition assistance. You definitely have to keep that up. So 3.0 will not go away. We average right now, I think we're sitting at 3.65 for our average for the first year. So if you look across the state, across the nation, for what the freshman GPA is in college, it's not close to that, okay? So our students are definitely doing a great job of raising the bar for that. But we do, like I said, we're going to hold them to that high standard. Attendance. Attendance in this program is mandatory. Students that do not maintain adequate attendance, again, we might have to release them from the program. You can't miss college classes. You don't need to miss school in general. We understand if there are medical necessities and those types of things, we'll work with you. But your attendance in the program is mandatory. It will be something that it can easily remove you from class because you will have a low grade if your attendance is poor. I want to talk about FERPA. It's basically in regards to who can communicate with who. So the college will always communicate with us as we are setting up this program. I cannot promise that someone from the college will communicate with you as the parent of your child just because you call and say, well, I pay the bills. We all get it, okay? But your child is now in college, and for them to talk to you about finances and those types of things, there's a keyword section in their account that they have to give you rights. And so they'll name you, and then they might put in like a passphrase. And then so you'll have to tell that to the person at the tuition office or something to deal with. Now, what they won't talk to you about, okay, and what I hope does not happen, your child doesn't do very well, and you decide, I'm emailing that professor. Please don't do that. Please do not embarrass me or your child in that act. And the actual order would be your child and me, because it doesn't necessarily bother me that much. But the professor they do not have to reply to you. They don't have to talk to you. They can delete your email and move right about their day. If you have a concern with the professor by any means, please contact us. Let us help you navigate that. What I encourage you to do is to help your child to formulate that email for them to send. You can definitely do that all day long. Help them to type, what should it sound like? What is a good professional email? What's the point that we're trying to get across? Help them type it up. Don't get into their email for them and type an email. That would be violation of FERPA, okay? So help them to navigate that, help them to see how can they help themselves do better in the course. We want to do that, but just don't take it upon yourself. Breakfast and lunch will always be served here at EC3. Those are available 8:50 in the morning and then lunch until noon. So your children will have all of those same things here, just as they do at their home high school. They're not going to miss out on any of that. Transportation is provided all day long. Your students will be here, and the majority of their classes will happen in the morning. And so if they choose then to take the bus back to their home high school for an afternoon set of courses for 4th and 5th period, they can do that. Students can also drive here. We know that during the junior year, we have a lot of kids that start driving. And so we do have that option available for them too. We provide study areas for our kids in the afternoon. The mornings, they're kind of moving about their classes, but in the afternoons, they will have study areas that they will be asked to go to. Some quiet rooms and some that are maybe more collaborative. But we will be asking them to go to those locations if they stay here in the afternoon. Now that just kind of brings me into talking a little bit more about what the schedule looks like. The courses operate on a college schedule. So you might take your math course on Monday, Wednesdays at 9 o'clock in the fall. And then following up your math course, you might have history from 10:30 to 11:45. And when that's done, that's your Monday and Wednesday. Then on Tuesday and Thursday, maybe you have psychology at 9 o'clock, followed up by a science class at 10:30. And then that's your Tuesday and Thursday. And then on top of it, maybe you're taking a personal finance class online. So those are your 5 classes, there's your 15 hours, and that's your day. So when do you do the work for your personal finance class online? In the afternoon, in your free time that you choose to do with it. Some students then choose to say, well, I'm done, I'll have my lunch hour, and then I want to go back to the high school to do a weightlifting class, or maybe I'm in choir or ROTC. Great, go. We encourage that. If they don't want to, then that's fine. They stay here. They don't get to just leave. They must stay to the end of the school day. And then they are using that time to keep up with their syllabus, keep up with their grades, to make sure that they're getting the grades that they are expecting to get. Again, so if they're going back to their high school, then they have their trimester that's still kind of mixed in. So they kind of have the semesters in the morning, trimesters in the afternoon, and we have a lot that do that. We have some students that stay here that then go into a pathway course. Maybe some students are still doing engineering or health sciences, or maybe they're going over to John Hardin for criminal justice. That's fine. Transportation will take you there as well. You can choose to continue into your pathway, and we encourage it. We encourage you to do that, but you have to find the balance in your schedule, okay? The next one is scheduling for next year, and this is why it's important that you all had scanned that QR code. This link that is in your document will be scheduling. I ask that students fill this out, and I ask that only the students that have been accepted fill this out. Once you are accepted, you will fill this out. So if you are not there yet, please do not fill this out. This form is very simple. Okay, we're just asking some really, really simple things here. First name, last name, your home high school. This box right here is your KCTCS ID number, and it's in here because once you have been accepted, our next step will be to make sure that students will apply for summer, and that's going to be something that I'll be throwing out to everybody to make sure that you apply for a summer and you have your KCTCS ID number. Some students that are already taking dual credit, and I know there's a lot of students in here, you probably already have a number. You probably just have to search through some emails to find it, okay? Then what we're asking students to do is to fill out to give us a little idea about what they're wanting. We have 3 tracks here. We have one that we call, that's our math focus. That's for students that want a little more math, maybe at our Associates of Science. We have our next one, that's our English language, maybe our Associates of Arts. And then we have the one where someone might say, I don't really care, just put me somewhere. And we'll help them kind of figure that part out. That just helps us to make sure that we give them the right courses for the fall versus the spring semester. What we typically try to do, because of our English and math teacher are ours. They belong to Hardin County Schools. We try to keep our students in either English or math with one of our teachers here so that we can just always see somebody. We know we see them in the building and things like that, but someone that always kind of sees them and can kind of check in with them. We just want to be sure that they have someone they can always kind of turn to. And then the next box down here is about science. We have to start planning now for what science looks like. So again, I didn't put the numbers on here. It's just very basic of anatomy, chemistry, biology. And then that last one is just give me whatever. I don't like science, so that's fine. You just have to take something. So we'll pick one for you. And then the very last here is about Apex or FYE. Again, I talked about FYE. I think everyone kind of understands that, so you can let me know what you want to do. And then I just want to know a little bit more if you're in an extracurricular. We might then help you. So if you are a baseball player, then we might to try to schedule your load to maybe that it's a little heavier in the fall versus the spring, okay, or vice versa. We just want to try to help your kid out so it's not too heavy during their extracurricular times, okay? So that's important information. If you're in band, I'm sorry, I know that's all year long. But just give us an idea, okay? Then the next one just helps us to, like, if you're still planning to take some courses at your home high school or here at EC3, tell us what those are, okay? It helps us in planning the schedule. Now, I will say this. It doesn't necessarily happen with our juniors as much as it does with our seniors. If you tell me that you're taking a course at your high school or a pathway course, we will later on have a document that we're going to have them sign. And it's going to lock them in. We can't deal, we deal with schedule changes a lot where someone comes and says, I don't want the pathway anymore. And we're 3 days into the pathway course of the trimester. And I can't fill that seat with a new student because we're too far in at that point. So we're going to help to kind of lock kids in a little bit. So when they tell us that they're going to stick with that, then we're going to make them stick with it. And the very last one is just to give me information in regards to free and reduced so we know how to financially plan to help everyone. All right. And again, that is linked in this document, and I will make sure that we pull that back up for you. All right. So let me get on to the next big important thing, because I know that we have students and parents in here where your kid has not made the benchmarks just yet. This information right here is the ECTC Assessment Center. RPC is that if you took University Drive and you kept driving straight, you would run into that building. That is the RPC building. Inside there, room 129 is the assessment center. I have listed their phone number with extensions and their email address. This is what students will need to do if they are still waiting on scores. So let's say that you've taken the ACT and you have English and you have reading and you just don't have math yet. Well, the first line of defense would be is to contact your transition coach at your high school. If you don't know who those are, at Central Hardin High School, that's Miss Paige Wilson. At John Hardin High School, that's Miss Jennifer Cobb. And at North Hardin High School, that's Mr. Blake Benham. Those individuals can test you for a test in math called Coyote, K-Y-O-T-E. That Coyote test will test you in just college algebra. So I tell those to the students, if you took the ACT and in math you got somewhere between 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that range, you didn't get the 22, you're probably a prime candidate for the Coyote algebra test. Do a little studying, look it up. You just go online, you Googled Coyote algebra practice, you will find some exam stuff. Practice, do the practice tests. You'll look at it's a 25 question test, 25 questions, that's it. You need 14 correct. If you look at it and on the standards, there's actually 7 of them with 2 questions per standard. So if you focus on those 7 standards and you get those 2 questions right, you will get your 14. One easy test strategy. But you have to schedule that with your transition coach to take at your high school, and they will test you, I think, once or twice at the high school. Then you could use ECTC to test for the Coyote. You can test once for free. The second time they will charge you, but you get 2 times per semester. Okay? That's all math. I talk about that. Why? Because that's typically our sticking point. Like it's usually the one that gets students. For the other areas, for English benchmark, which is English is 18, math is a 22, reading is a 20. For English, you can take a test at ECTC called AccuPlacer. It's a writing test. You got to score 5 on that. I'm not sure what the range is. I apologize, but I know you need a 5. There's the Coyote algebra, and again, that is the link that will actually get you to the practice that I just told you, so you don't even have to look it up. You can just click the button. Coyote reading is another test you can do. It's a reading test that's just like the math for reading. So that's your 3 ways to score the scores you need for instead of taking the ACT. Now, just remember, the ACT is what we need. You need to take the ACT. Don't think that I'm just going to take these 3 exams instead. I'm not going to take the ACT. Those 3 exam scores right there will not get you in to U of L, UK, WKU. They won't get you in. You have to have the ACT. So we're always going to start with the ACT, but I get it after you've taken it, sitting for the exam almost 4 hours, and now you need just one benchmark. Why go back and sit for the entire thing for that one benchmark? You will sit for it later because you're definitely going to want a better score, but get the score you need so you can get this stress past you to say, I got into the academy, I can move on. I know that's kind of what's weighing on everyone. All right, and then I have our contact information there. I know it's a lot of information to kind of throw at you. I know a lot of people are just kind of now thinking. I want to give some time, and it's 6:52, so I said about an hour. So I wanted to give some time for any questions that are, kind of group worthy. I'm sorry, sometimes I do this thing, and sometimes I just forget stuff. So I don't know if Mr. Coomer or Ms. Wright, if you heard like some things that I might have forgot to say, but I want to give that information to you also. Any questions that you all felt like that I did not answer for you all? Yes, ma'am.
So with the pathways, if you're doing like animal science, which ones would you recommend doing the science degree?
I would. Yeah, so you're thinking veterinary?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so if you took an AP Lit class or an AP English class at your high school, would you still have to take, or would it affect your classes?
It would change a little bit. So AP Literature is actually English 161. So if you take AP Literature and you get a 3, then it takes care of English 161. Okay, so then we would then take a look at how that would change out your course sequencing. Yes?
Is it still required to take the junior year ACT if you've already taken
It is, yeah. So the question is, do you still have to take the junior year ACT that all of your junior classmates just did? Yes. We test you here.
Okay.
We do one large test here for your juniors, but everyone, it's state mandated. Yes, sir.
You said students can drive here.
Yes, sir.
Can they drive to school, to the high schools also?
They can, yes, sir. Yeah, we do have a form. We have a document that they turn in for parent signature for driving, and we do also require parent permission for someone to ride with them. Very different than the home high schools. The home high schools don't do that. But because our students are arriving and leaving at a different time after the high schools have already started, our district has asked us to require a few other documents for liability purposes. But yes, we do. We require that. Yeah. There is a $5 fee. There's a $5 fee. But I promise you, you'll see like that money pours right back into the kids. So all the kids, the seniors, they do these project grad things. They have all these prizes. Well, we spend about $5,000, I'll be honest, for our seniors, and we give away prizes, not just the seniors in this program, but our seniors in all of our pathways, and we do celebrations with them, and we give away tons of cool stuff. But we pour our money back into the kids. So we used to give the $5 back, and it just became a hassle, honestly. So we just decided to pour it into them. It's $5, absolutely. And we should be set up next year where I think we can take their cards and all that kind of things because nobody ever carries cash anymore. But yeah, parking is allowed here. Other question? Yeah.
Per day, per semester, the $5.
Oh no, it's one time.
One time.
One time. Yep. And unless they lose it, it flies out the window. Then they got to buy another one. So, and we are sticklers for parking passes. So our kids will tell you. So yes.
I apologize for being late. I'd
No
like
problem.
to know if this information is somewhere I'm substituting for parents. So.
Yes, ma'am. There'll be I'll scroll back to the QR code that you can take with you and share out. I will also email this document out to everybody that's on our list, both that have been accepted and are still waiting. I'll give that out. I'll end up putting it out on Remind. I'll make sure everyone has that so, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Say if they are done classes and they drive themselves, they have to stay?
They do have to stay during their junior year. Their junior year, they're here. When we're in session, they're in session. So, and thanks for asking that question because it sparked one more thing for me to add to it. The very first day of school, who knows it? August what? 8th?
Yeah.
For Hardin County Schools?
Yeah.
So again, thank you. I'm still in this year, right? So if August 8th is the very first day for Hardin County Schools, then every student in this program across our district, they must report to their home high school first on the very first day of school. So you show up there, they're going to put you all in a big room or cafeteria or something like that because it's always a large group. And then they count everybody, they check attendance for the first day one counts. And then they'll send you on. They'll let you load the bus or jump in your car, and then you will come here. If then you don't have a class schedule at your home high school, then you don't necessarily need to show back up at your home high school ever again. For some people that's yay, and some people are like, oh, that's weird. But that's just the way it is. So then they come here, and then, again, apologize if my dates are mixed up. August 8th, if that's like a Thursday, then their college classes start on the following Monday. So they're here on Thursday and Friday, and we do a lot of things. We have our two teachers, Miss Alford and Mr. Ernst, they're academy lead teachers. They do all these great, fun things with them because we're mixing kids from Central, John, and North that have no clue who each other are except for on Snapchat because they're friends. Why? I don't know. They don't even know each other, right? But they're going to get to know their Snapchat friends here in the academy program. And, they're going to find out that, hey, you like the same things as I do. And so we'll do a lot of those fun activities with them for the first 2 days, and we're going to try to get them to know each other before their classes start on that following Monday. Then, in December, when their classes end on December 10th, again, throwing out this date, Hardin County Schools is still in session until like the 18th. Well, they're done on the 10th. They still have to show up unless, what we try to do with them is we try to put them out in community service opportunities. So we let them go out and do some good in the community. Some people job shadow. Some of you have some great professions that you're in, and they might come then shadow you. Let's spend some time because they're still exploring career options. So they'll get to go out and do some of those things during the winter time. Now, when spring comes around, we do a couple different things. We do college visits. We'll take them always to WKU, to UK, to U of L, to Lindsey Wilson and Campbellsville. Those have been kind of our pillars. They always want us to come to campus, so we want to try to take our kids there. If other schools allow us to come, then we try to take them. Some are they're just too far for us to get there in a day and back. And again, when we're talking about upwards of 70 to 100 kids and getting them all into a college campus, sometimes it's rough. But we try to take them during the spring semester when the weather clears up. We want them to see college campuses. We want them to get that feel. And for some kids, that helps them to make that decision on where they choose to go. That was a long answer into that, but that's so. Yes, sir.
If my daughter graduates with her associates here and then she goes to UK, what percentage or how many credit hours will transfer to the degree?
Every single one that she has. All. So if your child has the exact 60, all 60 will transfer across the board. In-state public colleges and universities, it's a one-to-one transfer. It is really close to that with our private colleges in the state of Kentucky. It's really close to that, except for Center. I will tell you, they're just an elitist school. They choose to do what they want to do. But no one will ever take the associate's degree from your child. They will always have that. But what transfers in one-to-one might be a little different per college and university. And as you get outside of the state, we don't have control over that. But we do have the National Post-Secondary Education Council here in Kentucky. We have that agreement so that the transferability is right there. But what transfers one-to-one is just sometimes a little bit different. So again, we'll help your children to kind of look at that research and share resources to help you all make those decisions on what will count for what. But so, yes, sir.
Can Keys money be used for, like, say, the summer program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wish. No, it cannot. If you know a legislator, ask them. So Keys money is the money, for those, anybody that's unfamiliar, it's the money that your child earns. They can earn up to $500 per high school year, then to be used for college. There's an ACT bonus that gets tacked on. It cannot be used while in high school. And it just doesn't make sense to me, but you know, I haven't been voted into office. So you can't do it. So it will always be used and can be used after high school. I will say one more thing in regards to Keys. Thank you for saying that. If your student got straight B's in this program, okay, I know that somebody's heart just skipped a beat. If they got straight B's in this program, for Keys Money GPA, that is a 4.0. That is still max $500 for the year. Okay? Because Keys gives a bonus for dual credit and or AP. So your GPA for Keys Money never suffers by taking on more rigor. Your high school GPA will still say a 3.0, but it will report as a 4.0 for Keys Money. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I think I already know the answer to this, but if I get my associates here and I go to KU like later on, can I go there as like a junior instead of a freshman?
Yeah, so everybody that leaves our program, when you go to college, you always apply as a first-time freshman. That's how you apply. Okay, why? Because there are more first-time freshman scholarships than any other grade level. So you always apply as a first-time freshman because you are never enrolled in a college. Even though you're taking classes at ECTC, in true reality, you're enrolled in high school taking dual credit classes. You're never enrolled in college. So you apply as a first-time freshman, you get those freshman scholarships. Once you arrive on campus, a couple days there, next thing you know, you just magically, all those credits are there, they show up, and then you, in terms of your status, would be rated as a junior. But you got to understand, college degree programs, they're all over the place. It might take 132 hours to graduate with a bachelor's degree. And this program might be 124. This might be 148. They're different. And so how long it takes you once you leave here to graduate with your four-year degree, again, that's up to you. It could be like one of my children who went and changed the degree major. So it took her 3 years. She's graduating, but she changed her major. Still saved us tons of money. She did 2 years here, 3 years there, 5 years. It's better than me. It took me like 6. So it's cheaper, right? So understand that just because you're doing this program doesn't necessarily mean that you only have 2 years once you get there. It just means that you have those credits that will take care of what you need as part of that program. Yeah.
I have two questions. One is, if I have a sophomore that's going into her junior year, so she would have to take that summer course in this summer?
Correct.
Going into her junior year?
Correct.
Okay, so then the second question that goes with that is, then can you apply for FAFSA to help aid that?
No.
No, it's just a strict out-of-pocket?
Yeah. FAFSA, federal government, does not allow you to get federal aid until you have graduated high school. It's one of the big questions on the FAFSA. Have you graduated or you have earned your GED by the time? And you answer no, so that means you're automatically not eligible for FAFSA. Now I will say this, leads me to another thing. If you as a family have set aside money into a college savings fund, you can access that and use that for your child in dual credit classes. Check with your financial advisor, but you can, 100%. You are allowed to use that money to help your child take dual credit, okay? But you cannot access federal funds. Okay, yes, ma'am.
When they graduate with their associates, do they walk with ECTC or do you do a separate graduation?
Yeah, so ECTC changed their rules during COVID and how they do things. One, because Central Hardin Gym is unavailable for them to participate and use this large venue. And two, is just COVID made them change. So right now, like for Jeffrey, like they're graduating there on the 7th of May, and they have times. So students need to go in and select their times for their graduation. So they have already received an email for that. So if I just stirred something up, I'm sorry. But they have to pick a time. So like I know like my child is at 6:30 on that evening. So we're going, and I think she goes there and walks across, and they hand her thing and like, here, thank you. We take pictures, and that's it. That's their graduation ceremony. Very different. And then we celebrate them here. At their high school graduation, they have a special medallion that your children will wear. It's a big medallion that says associate's degree. So they walk across the stage at their high school as associate's degree earners. The high school will recognize them. It's announced. We try to make a big deal of it, but they wear a special medallion at high school graduation for their associate's degree. And again, when you're looking at our students, 75 to 100 students max, you spread that out across their class, 20 to 30 kids in their class, it makes them look pretty special that they're doing that. So that is the big thing that we do for high school graduation for your kids for associate's degree. Any other general questions? I'm not going anywhere. I know Mr. Coomer is going to stick around as well, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you have. But if you don't have any questions for the group, did I see a hand? Yes.
The summer class is online.
Correct.
And they can start and finish that during that time period at their choosing, right?
Correct. As long as it is done before the end of the 8 weeks, then they're good. So the class is wide open when they open it up, and you can basically start working through it. So I saw another hand up. Yes, sir.
Co-op program, is that available?
Yeah, that's a great question. So co-op is always going to be available. What I start to tell our kids a lot of times in this program, because of their flexibility that they have in their day, is that they can choose a co-op. Our co-op is a senior year activity. It's just the way that our district does it. They do it during senior year. So a lot of our students find that during their senior year, because of the way their schedule is, that they just say, I don't have to say that I'm doing co-op because I can work on Tuesdays and Thursdays all day long because all of my classes are on Monday, Wednesday. So instead of having to just go work in the afternoon, but your program, whatever pathway that they might be in, might love to tag them in Infinite Campus as being a co-op student because it does help with some finances along the way. So we like to do that, but co-op is a wide open category when they're senior year because of how their schedule is. Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks. All right, I don't want to keep you all. Again, we will have this recording and we will put it out for all to watch. Thank you all for coming. If you did not sign in, please make sure you sign in before you leave. Thank you.